Household energy use is typically managed through large external systems. Electricity is generated at distance, distributed through fixed infrastructure, and metered at the point of consumption. Interaction with this system is limited. Most engagement occurs indirectly, through billing cycles, rate changes, and service disruptions, rather than through direct control over generation itself. Alternatives to centralized energy, such as solar arrays, wind turbines, or fuel-based generators, introduce their own forms of complexity. These systems often require permanent installation, regulatory approval, specialized components, or ongoing fuel access. Over time, effort accumulates not only in cost, but in planning, maintenance, and dependence on external supply chains. For many households, the friction lies less in electricity use itself and more in the systems required to offset or supplement it. Attempts at partial independence tend to increase involvement rather than reduce it. Monitoring output, maintaining components, and managing variability become ongoing obligations. As a result, interest periodically shifts toward formats that claim to simplify engagement with energy generation rather than expand it. Within this space, between full infrastructure projects and complete reliance on centralized grids, instructional energy products tend to appear. These products do not present themselves as utilities or services. Instead, they exist as informational systems that describe alternative ways energy might be generated, assembled, or understood at a smaller scale. The infinite energy system belongs to a category of digital instructional products focused on small-scale energy concepts. It is not a physical generator, component, or pre-assembled device. Instead, it is delivered as a set of informational materials intended to describe the construction of a specific energy-related apparatus. Structurally, the product is distributed in digital form. Access typically includes written documentation and visual walkthroughs that outline components, assembly order, and general configuration. The system does not ship hardware, materials, or tools. All physical elements are described rather than provided. The product is designed to function as a blueprint-style guide. Its purpose is to communicate a particular configuration that the creators present as distinct from conventional solar, wind, or fuel-based generators. The materials focus on layout, part relationships, and mechanical arrangement rather than integration into existing utility systems. What the product does not attempt to do is integrate with regulatory frameworks, provide professional certification, or offer installation services. It does not position itself as a replacement utility provider, nor does it present itself as a standardized commercial device. Its role remains informational rather than infrastructural. Interaction with the infinite energy system begins at the instructional level. Engagement consists of reading, viewing, and interpreting the provided materials. The system requires active participation in sourcing components independently and assembling them according to the described configuration. Time involvement is variable and dependent on familiarity with basic tools, component sourcing, and mechanical assembly. The instructional materials are structured for repeated reference rather than single-use consumption. Diagrams and steps may be revisited during construction or modification. The system does not operate autonomously. It depends on external materials, user assembly, and ongoing physical setup. No automated monitoring, remote management, or embedded feedback systems are included. Any adjustments or maintenance are manual and situational. Repeatability exists at the informational level. The same instructions may be reused to recreate or modify the described setup. However, execution remains bounded by access to parts, local conditions, and individual interpretation of the instructions. The materials themselves remain static once delivered. Updates, revisions, or contextual adaptations are not structurally built into the format. As an instructional format, the infinite energy system simplifies entry into an alternative energy concept by avoiding permanent installation, utility coordination, or proprietary hardware. It removes the need for contracts, service providers, or ongoing subscriptions. At the same time, it leaves several elements unresolved. Performance characteristics, longevity, and scalability are not standardized within the format itself. Outcomes depend entirely on implementation, component quality, and environmental conditions that the instructional material cannot control. The system does not resolve questions related to compliance, safety standards, or regional restrictions. These considerations remain external to the product. It also does not replace existing electrical infrastructure in a formal sense, as it operates outside grid-certified frameworks. For individuals seeking turnkey solutions, automated systems, or professionally supported installations, the structure may feel incomplete. The product assumes a willingness to interpret instructions, manage sourcing, and accept variability in execution. Among energy-related products, the Infinite Energy System occupies a position closer to instructional manuals than to consumer appliances. It sits alongside other blueprint-based or educational formats rather than within the category of finished devices. Its differentiation is described primarily through structure and presentation, not through independently verified specifications. Without direct inspection of the materials themselves, the level of technical detail, clarity of instruction, and practical constraints remain unclear. A full understanding of the system requires access to the documentation, diagrams, and demonstrations as presented by the creators. Certain aspects, such as component selection, assembly tolerance, and operational limits, cannot be fully assessed without examining the material directly. As with many instructional formats in this category, the product does not close the informational loop on its own. The description of the system outlines a framework, but the final interpretation remains dependent on direct exposure to the content itself.